Hello, my name is Josh Kaplan. I'm a product manager on the Salesforce platform team working on Salesforce DX. Salesforce DX provides you with a brand new set of tools to integrate with your existing tools and your existing processes for developing applications. One of the processes that I hope you're familiar with, continuous integration and continuous delivery. Continuous integration is the automated running of tests every time any developer checks in a change to your application. This will ensure that you have code quality across everyone in your team and across the history of your project. Salesforce DX provides a command line interface which will let you script the test runs you need to ensure that application quality. It will let you integrate with the existing tool set that you already have on site or have skills with across your organization. The CLI makes it easy to script those runs. In an attempt to always remain open so you can work with the development tools you want, Salesforce CLI also allows you to integrate with a variety of different IDE environments. We have provided a brand new Eclipse plugin that is built specifically to work with Salesforce DX. It attaches to your Scratch orgs and lets you do development in the way that Salesforce DX recommends. In addition to that, there are a series of community-supported tools like IntelliJ, Cloud9, and Sublime that you can utilize if those are your preferred IDE of choice. And with that, I would like to now demonstrate how Salesforce DX makes it easy for you to work with continuous integration. I'm now going to show you how I've integrated my project with a well-known continuous integration vendor, Travis CI. Now, doing this does not require you be an expert in Travis CI, which is good because I am certainly no expert in Travis CI. I was able to still set this entire demonstration up with the help of our Trailhead modules in very little time whatsoever. So you can see here, I'm in GitHub. This is my repository. This is my application. I've got all of the different files I need to set up Scratch orgs and to run my continuous integration system. So let's go ahead and make a change and see how the automation will kick in to test my application. Here I am in the new Force.com IDE, which is built to work with Salesforce DX. You see here at the top the name of the Scratch org that I am currently pointing at, and you see here at the top the name of the Git branch that I am currently checked out on. I will now make a new branch to make a new change, which I will commit and allow the test to run automatically. So I do a new branch. We call this big test. So on the big test branch, I'm now going to be able to make some changes to my code. Let's add one more test right here. After checking test, we're going to do a checking again test just before the just checking test. I will now save that, and I will push that to my Scratch org. I've got lots of ways to do that. This button here at the top, or I've got buttons, right-click on the files themselves, or I can go back to my command line if I want to. And as soon as the test, the source is pushed down here in the corner, I'm going to go ahead and run my Apex tests. So I've set up a test configuration up here that runs all the tests that I want. I click on and run, and we'll see down here on the Apex test panel that the tests are kicking off and running. So you can see here that the tests have completed, and my just checking again test is now also been added to the list of tests that were being run. I'll now use my integration with Git that's built directly into the IDE, and I will stage the changes to my redundancy test for commit. Commit message, added a test, because more tests is always better. I'll do a commit and push, follow through the screens here, and it will now push my changes on this branch up to Git. Switching back over to my repository, I see that the big test branch was pushed less than a minute ago, and I can now compare the changes and do a pull request. I'm going to compare with my master branch, see that I can merge, and as soon as I create a pull request, automated tests are going to kick off through the magic of continuous integration. I can see right here that Travis, my continuous integration tool of choice, is running. And if I were to open this tab, you would see that the build is booting and kicking off. While that's happening, let's take a look at the file that is being used to power that integration test. I open up my Travis YML file, and I see that here I have a bunch of commands that are used to tell the Travis server what to do, both with Travis commands and with SFDX commands. So at the top, I encrypt my key, and then I install a whole bunch of different plugins I need to, SFDX update. And now down here, after I've done some of that setup, I get into the meat of the test script itself with SFDX commands. The first command here you see is force auth JWT grant, which does an authentication for my headless process into the connected app that's in my hub org. The next thing that I do in my script is I do an org create, same command I would run at the command line, using my Scratch definition, and I call it CI org. Then I push the source from my repository into that org. I run tests, and then I'm going to be a good citizen and I'm going to clean up by deleting that CI org when the tests are done. Now you may notice this is the same set of steps that I went through when I was in the IDE. I already created the org in advance and I'd already authenticated, but I pushed the source, the changes that I had made, and I ran some tests and saw the results in the IDE. Now the automated continuous integration process will mirror those same steps, but do it in the most recent version of the code with all the changes by everybody on my team. And this will ensure that whatever changes I've made do not conflict with everybody else on my team. So now I can pop over here into Travis and see what has happened in the running of the script. It shows me all the output of the creation of the environment that it's using, setting up the Scratch org, pushing the source. You see the same output you would see at the command line, all of the files being pushed into that Scratch org. And then you see the Apex test run being executed, and all of the different test results here are all going to show up with a pass. And when they do all show up with a pass, we will at the end find a exit code of 0, which will be a successful test run. Now, looking back at my build screen, we'll see this test is passed. I can come back into my repository, refresh the screen, and see that all checks have passed. I'm now ready to merge the changes that I have made to my local personal developer version of the application, merge those in with the rest of the team. And I now know that I can safely do this because of the automation setup with continuous integration. You too can become an expert on how to use Travis and continuous integration by going into the wonderful modules we have on Trailhead. In fact, most of what I've shown you now is coming directly from the continuous integration using Salesforce DX module, which I encourage you all to go visit and try out today. The rest of these modules will get you up to speed on how to use all of the wonderful features that we've put into Salesforce DX. And thank you very much, and happy coding.